Jumanji: The Next Level is a sequel to Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, which came out in 2017, and that movie was a sequel, I guess, or kind of a reboot. Well, it's a sequel to the original 1995 Jumanji, which starred Robin Williams. The point is, this Jumanji thing is like a huge franchise at this point. This one is, again, directed by Jake Kasdan, or Kazan. This movie stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Karen Gillan. I mean, pretty much the same characters, played those same avatars, those video game characters from the first movie. I always have a tough time remembering the real life actors and actresses who played the other versions of these characters, like the real life versions of these characters. You guys remember these characters from the first one. You remember Bethany, you remember Fridge, you remember Martha, you remember Alex. Remember how they went through that crazy adventure in a video game called Jumanji, and they bonded, they became really good friends by the end of it, and then they left off at the end of it in a good place where the game was destroyed. Yeah, well, the game wasn't completely destroyed. We all know that because they needed a sequel. And so in this one, there's some time that's passed. I guess Alex is feeling some type of way about some things. I'm not going to spoil exactly what happens, but the point is Alex somehow gets the game up and then he goes back into the game. His friends have to go in after him to save him. When they get sucked back into the game, they accidentally suck in two older people, one of whom is Alex's grandfather. Now we have a sequel where they're once again stuck in the world of Jumanji and they have to navigate through this level of Jumanji, which is a little bit different than the Jumanji that they left the first time. I don't know what it is about these Jumanji movies, man. I don't know how it is, but they're just so much fun. I say if they're going to continue to make them this much fun, just make as many Jumanji movies as possible. I went into the first one, I didn't even have high expectations. In fact, I kind of expected the first one to be shit. Then I saw it and I walked out and I was like, ah, you know what? That was pretty good. And I walk into this movie with similar expectations. I'm expecting a fun ride, nothing else. And I walk out going, yeah, you know what? That's pretty good. One thing, I love these characters in this movie. I love the fact that they've made them fun and relatable, and I love the chemistry between them. And I'm not just talking about the video game characters. I'm talking about the real life versions that are playing these video game characters. They're not exactly the same people, but they do have that same bond, and so you like that. All these characters are likable in their own way, so I really appreciate that they brought this cast back, and that this cast once again seems to really enjoy working together. They do a weird thing in this sequel where they keep it the same, like they keep the same basic principles of the game and the story and blah blah blah, the plot, whatever. But at the same time, while they keep it the same, they also do some tweaks and some changes. This is a movie that's clearly a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if you do fix it, make sure that whatever you fix improves upon the first one in some way. One of the things that's interesting about this movie is that they don't get to choose their avatars the way that they did in the first Jumanji movie. You have characters that are playing different versions of the characters that they were playing in the first one, and obviously you have the added wrinkle of these two older guys who get sucked into a video game and have no idea what's going on. This tweak leads to some really well-timed and well-done comedy, and I really appreciate the most Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart. Like, they're the standouts in this movie. It's not just that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart in general have a natural chemistry. It helps, obviously, that they're best friends in real life. But there's just something so funny, even in this movie, about their dynamic, and seeing them basically have to play different versions of the characters. Like, they're not playing the Kevin Hart and the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that you see in every single movie. Interesting to see them kind of go against type. Kevin Hart, in particular, was funnier in this movie than I think I've seen him in any movie I've seen him in the last few years. Some people hear Kevin Hart and they go, oh my god, I'm tired of Kevin Hart, he's not really that funny. Totally get it, but I would say give him a chance in this movie. He's really good. The comedy doesn't always work because it does feel like they're improvising their lines, but overall I would say that I was satisfied for the most part, and I was laughing throughout the entire movie. They also add a little bit to the lore, they add a little bit to the world of the game. Some new things that they throw in here where you're kind of like, oh okay, that's interesting, and that's something that I figured would be in a game, a video game, if they were going to try to do it. They overdo it a little bit on the CG for the action sequences, but again, it does take place inside a video game, so you kind of have to accept that. The movie also has just enough heart. It has just enough heart there. It has just enough of a message about friendship and loyalty, it's about growing up and about changing, but never forgetting the people that are closest to you in life. It's such a fun ride, and you can't help but be entertained while watching it. As far as issues with the movie, I would say that as far as plot goes, like I said, it's pretty similar to the first one. It once again follows a MacGuffin type of storyline. Somebody might look at this story and they might go, you know what, it's kind of predictable, and it's just, I know what's going to happen. It's a little bit contrived. I'll also say that there is an actor that showed up in this movie that I did not expect to be in this movie, and they're playing kind of a villain sort of character. I was excited at first until I realized that they were just the same nondescript, one-dimensional, pointless villain as the first one had. And I'm not going to spoil it because I want you to figure out who this person is when you actually go to see the movie, but for one shining moment, I was just kind of like, oh man, yeah, all right, I like that this person from, is in this movie, and then they just completely waste him, which That sucks. I would say my biggest issue is actually that I don't think that they came up with a concrete enough reason to justify Alex going back into the game. I mean, you sort of get it, you understand it. It's not like the movie doesn't try to explain it. At the same time, it just seems a little bit thin to me, considering the fact that they almost died the last time that they went inside this game. Alex has been a little bit too extra. Jumanji: The Next Level takes Jumanji up another level, and it was fun, it was funny, it was exciting. I love these characters. I love the world that they've created in this Jumanji video game. Jumanji: The Next Level was an exciting, funny, well-done sequel. I'm gonna leave this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. Tell me, if you haven't seen this new Jumanji movie, which one do you prefer? The Jumanji movie from 2017 or the Jumanji movie from 1995? Put that in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show. And as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.